Welcome live on this Sunday morning, man. Good morning to you guys. Post game and Rob up in the building with me. How y'all doing?
I'm good, bro. Good to be here this morning on this fine Sunday. Good to see you two fellas, and we got our man SEC Sean coming in as well. He's backstage, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man. How y'all doing, man? It's a beautiful morning. Always a good thing to talk some college football.
We also got SEC Sean in the building. What's up, Sean? You sipping on some coffee?
Always, man. Gotta have that coffee kicking in the morning.
Hey, man, I hope you ain't like my mom, man. My mom put a little brown in it.
Uh,
All right, man. Let's get right into it, man. We here to talk Big 12 football, man. Last week, me and Rob, we did the ACC spring preview. Kind of ran through the conference and talked about a few things. We're gonna just start off with: does the ACC get enough respect in y'all guys' opinion? We kind of talked about the ACC last year, how they only received one team. The Big 12 was in the same boat. We got Texas Tech that made it to the playoffs. In their first game, they had a bye. They played Oregon. They got thumped. Do y'all think this conference get enough respect? And will the Texas Tech team making the playoffs in their performance last year, will that team warrant them more respect, if not this coming season?
I don't. I don't think. I mean, they don't get the respect that they deserve. I think they get more than they did in previous years. It used to be all the respect seemed to funnel to two conferences. You know, the big two, the Big Ten, SEC. I think Tech, what they did last year, gave them a little bit more respect. BYU had a good season last year, so um, to me, they get a little bit of respect. It's probably about where it's warranted, in my mind.
yeah, I think the respect they get right now is justified. I mean, if you really look at their conference from top to bottom, they've added some teams. They got 16 now in the Big 12. It's some teams that we know will probably never be able to compete with Texas Tech money wise, um, and some of the teams that were really good for a few years, like Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State. Those teams may never be able to compete with Texas Tech because of NIL, transfer portal, and this money. So I think that the respect they get is justified. They're one of those conferences that just can't compete with the likes of the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah, I think the respect that's given to the Big 12 is right where it needs to be. Until these teams start competing with other teams from the bigger conferences like the Big 10 and the SEC, I think their respect level is going to stay exactly where it's at. The problem with the Big 12 to me is that when they go out of conference and play these other teams from these elite conferences, they normally don't fare well. So until they get that together, I'm going to say they respect is right where it should be.
Yeah, I think we all in agreement with them. I'm curious about, we'll get to this point, but I'm curious about what it's going to look like this year, because I think the SEC kind of took not a super huge backfall, but just enough for maybe one of these other conferences um, to maybe add a team into the equation when it comes to the landscape of college football. So I don't know where it's going to come from yet. We gotta do our summer research and see what's looking like across the board. But I'm not too sure if it couldn't be the Big 12 because they had 8 teams with 8+ wins last year in the league. So um, I think their respect though is right where it need to be as well. But I do think there's a lot out there that conference could grab. My next question for y'all is: how do y'all feel about the overall script of the conference this season?
I mean, I think it's going to be probably a three-team race in this conference, and it's probably going to be like that for quite some time. I believe that when you look at some of the teams that are in this conference, Texas Tech is probably the mainstay because of the money that they have, and they'll probably dominate this conference for a very long time. As long as things stay the same way that they are now, in terms of the conferences being a lot like they are now, I think Texas Tech will probably dominate this conference, much like Oklahoma did for a while.
I know that. I know that last part hurt you to say. I know it did. You struggled saying that last phrase. I know for a fact you did. Um, I see this as the three teams, and I think it's, to be honest, I think it's Tech, BYU, and Houston. That Houston team's got some talent down there. One team I'm real curious to see what they do that could be an outlier here and maybe a so-called sleeper is that Kansas State team. You know, they took A&M's offensive coordinator, former second in the Heisman Trophy, Colin Klein. He got that quarterback up there, that Avery Johnson. That kid's electric. And with the way Klein likes to run and do all that, Kansas State could have a breakout season here. Get back to kind of where Kansas State used to be. So that's the three, I think, at the top. And then I think you've got a jumble at the bottom with like your Kansas State, Cincinnati, stuff like that. It's kind of where I see them all slotting in.
Hey, I'm gonna go before SEC Shine on these topics because he just said every single thing that I was gonna say. But yeah, I agree with him, man. I think it's Tech, it's BYU, and like he said, the K State with Avery Johnson and them getting a guy who actually recruited him heavily out of high school as his coach now. So I think that mixture of the two is going to be big for K State. I actually do like Houston this year. They got Makai Hughes now. They're a team that could be a sleeper in the Big 12 conference. The most interesting team to me is going to be Oklahoma State, with them getting all the transfers from North Texas, getting the head coach from North Texas. I'm going to be really interested to see what kind of noise they can make in the Big 12. Of course, it's a little early, but those are the teams I'm looking at.
Yeah, Rob, do you want to add to that? Because I did have two questions about who, and they already kind of touched on it. Who did we feel was one of the sleeper teams in the conference, as well as maybe your outlook on who the top three teams are in this conference?
Well, my top three teams are Texas Tech, BYU, and TCU. I really love TCU's coach as well. I think they might be able. And they finished the season strong last year. I know they lose Hoover, but I think they're gonna be really good again in this conference at least. I would have picked Arizona, but Arizona's schedule is really brutal in that conference. They play probably all of the top five teams that we probably would name as our top three teams. Arizona play all of those teams, so they're going to have it tough. Even though they have a really good team too, I think in this conference. But those three teams are the three that I would pick. I'm going Texas Tech, BYU, and TCU.
Yeah, I think the overall strength, I think it's going to probably be down a little bit this year. And let me explain. I think Texas Tech is definitely probably going to be the favorite coming into this year with BYU right there behind them. I do not think Texas Tech will be as good as they were last year, though. So, as them being, if they was to finish as the best team in the conference and they're not what they was last year, then I just don't see how the conference can overall be stronger. I mean, I guess if some of the bottom teams pick it up, we had a real bad Oklahoma State team last year, who I expect to be pretty decent this year, even though it might not look like it on their record. But when you see that football team play this year, I think you'll see a different team night and day. Um, but as far as that third position, I see a number of teams. Arizona, you mentioned, who they returned their quarterback, Noah for something. Um, I like that kid. I think you mentioned TCU. I still think Utah can be a player, even though their coach moved on and went to Ann Arbor. I think when you play a team like that, it's hard to win in their stadium. So I think a team like that can keep on being relevant in that conference. Um, yeah, that third spot is up for grabs. I really couldn't even put my finger on just one specific team right now. But I definitely think we are not going to see no change in the Big 12 when it comes to Texas Tech and BYU right now. I think those are two staples right now within that conference. Hey, do you guys feel like the Big 12 suffers from coaching or recruiting? Or is it both?
I
Yeah,
think they have some really good coaches in that conference, man. I just think that when you got to go up against the Big Ten, the SEC, who put in more NFL players than any other conference in the league, probably more than everybody else combined. When you look at those two conferences, teams, players just really want to play in those conferences because they feel like that's their best opportunity to get developed and make it to the NFL. And then when you couple that against, you got to play against the like of some teams that's in the ACC. When you got Miami back on the map, you got a really good SMU team. You got some other teams in that conference that are really good. If Florida State can just get their act together, then it'll really make it really, really tough on the Big 12. But I think it's because of that conference and the label that it has. It's probably recruiting because I think they have some phenomenal coaches.
yeah, it might be that they're at a disadvantage as far as recruiting. I think Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 really did damage to that conference. Those were the two biggest brands, and they leave off to different conferences. But I think they got solid coaching. I actually think they got solid recruits, but if anything lags compared to the other conferences, I gotta say recruiting and probably NIL money. I think that programs like Texas Tech, BYU, maybe Baylor, because they're in the state of Texas, have a lot of money to play with. But it's hard to say which one of those is the main factor. It might be just a mixture of all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, they have some decent coaches. Um, I don't think they have the coaches on the level of the SEC and Big Ten, but they have some good ones. Joey McGuire out of Texas Tech for sure is phenomenal. Known that guy for years and years. That's the one school that can recruit probably with the powers of the Big Ten and the SEC because they have the money to recruit with them. So plus they're in a hotbed of recruiting. They're out there and in Texas and yeah, it's West Texas, but they get a lot of those West Texas kids that other people kind of sleep on. But I'd still say recruiting is the biggest gap between everything. Teams like Cincinnati, no offense to Cincinnati Bearcat fans, but they kind of get what Ohio State doesn't want. Um, in the state of Ohio, kind of like the rest of the colleges up here. So, to me, it's recruiting is the biggest gap between the schools, between the conferences.
Yeah, when I take a look and I kind of go backwards, I think it's both. I like Satak. I don't think they got flashy hires or flashy guys in place in the Big 12. I'm not saying they can't coach, but if you feel like the Big Ten or SEC, Sean, got better coaching, then that means you ain't got better coaches. So you're clearly a step behind, and recruiting as well. Yeah, recruiting is definitely a step back. Like you said, Cincinnati, they don't even get kids in Ohio for real. They don't get too many kids from out of Ohio, and I always found that kind of crazy. Them kids that don't get Ohio State offers, that be waiting for Ohio State offers, they typically go to Kentucky, the Michigan States of the world, the Illinois, just some of the lower level Big Ten schools because they want to play against the Big Ten talent, or the SEC talent. They don't even typically go to Cincinnati. They don't want to play in the Big 12. And I think that hurts probably across the board, all those schools with recruits across the country. But I do want to tap into this comment that Anthony said and get y'all's thoughts on this. He said, I was seeing a report by Brent McMurphy saying you're marked if the SEC or Big Ten doesn't want teams like Miami, Clemson, or FSU. That's the next target for expansion. So, do y'all see the Big 12? Big 12 got a lot of teams, and do y'all see the Big 12 expanding?
I don't. Not right now.
I think they would love to expand. That's the only way they're going to survive. My bad, SEC show.
No, you're good. We kind of both jumped on that. I think they want to expand to survive, but I don't think they're going to do it right now. I think Clemson and the teams that were mentioned are going to wait to see if they can get a Big Ten or SEC offer first. Plus, there's a whole bunch of litigation involved with that because of the media deal with the ACC and all that not expiring until 2031 or something. I mean, you're talking millions and millions and millions in buyouts that some of these schools just don't want to have to pay. So we're going to see, but how that plays out. But I don't see them expanding anytime soon. But I see it's on their radar.
Yeah, I think the ideal thing for the Big 12 to do is to get a blue blood back in the conference. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think they will expand. As of right now, probably not. Sometime down the line. But I think the Big 12 needs to do everything they can to get a blue blood back in the conference. Outside of that, I mean, they can expand all they want, but what team is really going to help that conference to compete with the other big conferences?
I think
Anthony, go ahead.
I think Anthony got a real good solution right here on the table. He said, I think the ACC and Big 12 need them to trim off the lower fat, the lower producing teams and send them to the group of 6 and then merge as one conference. That's actually a really good idea. Do I think it's plausible? No, I don't, because I don't think people can get in the room and agree on who's going to be the ones to join. That'd be a hell of an idea, though. Who was you saying, Sean?
I was going to say you'd have to in 1 second. I was going to say you have to rename the whole. What are we going to have? The big ACC next? I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with that, but like post game said, that was really valid. With the Big 12 needs a blue blood.
Yeah,
the ACC gets theirs because they have those 6 games with Notre Dame, so that helps them kind of, even though they're not in the ACC. They get those 6. The Big 12 really doesn't have that. So that was pretty valid right there. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, but Miami and Florida State are blue bloods.
Yeah. You got the Big 12. They're courting Nebraska right now too. And Nebraska is pretty interested because they went to the Big Ten and they haven't been able to do diddly squat. And their last maybe 10 years uh in the Big 12, they weren't as competitive either. I mean, they had that really good team when they had Dominic Sue, but they weren't able to get past the Oklahomas and Texas of the world during that time. So they probably want to go find a better situation for them, being that they're in an area where they don't get a whole lot of recruits. They got probably the most amazing fans in all of college football, but they need to get that thing corrected over there. And I think their best chance is to go to the Big 12, somewhere where they can compete, get back to playing teams that they were in that demographic that they like, because they can't survive in the Big 10, in my opinion. But I would like to see Nebraska go back to the Big 12.
Yeah, you know a lot of people like Nebraska this year. We gonna see though, Rob. They ain't did Billy squat though. Go ahead, and take them. uh, where we at? Oh, okay. So listen, do y'all think the Big 12 suffers or is less beneficial in the NIL era because of NIL and they name, image, and likeness?
I mean, it's I think they have the it's like the bargain bin because the bigger recruits who are getting the big bags aren't going to the Big 12 normally. So I think they have the bargain bin. You dig? I mean, we look at a guy like DJ Lagway. Uh, I think the only reason they got him is because he's from Texas. He suffered a lot of injuries at Florida. He probably want to be closer to home. So if he bounces back, that's going to be a really good look for the Big 12. But I gotta say, I I, I don't think they have a problem paying players. I think it's the players that are available for them to get. Those players really a lot of the elite players out of high school aren't really looking at the Big 12 first. I think their best bet is the transfer portal, and it doesn't seem to be a problem getting the players they can get out of the transfer portal. So that's my take on it.
I mean, when you look at the Big 12, man, the NIL, you really only have a few teams that can really compete uh, with NIL dollars, man. And I think it affects them because they just don't have enough teams that could buy their way to the top. So it's definitely affecting them. When you look at these other conferences, they have several teams, maybe even half of the teams in their conference that can go out and spend enough money and get some really, really good teams formed year in and year out. I just feel like the Big 12 does not have that. When you look at the 16 teams that they have in that conference, many of them they're either a basketball school or uh, they just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think.
mean,
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Sean.
sorry. I think some of them, obviously, your Texas Techs can have got the money with that backer out there, Clay Campbell. I mean, they've got billions. They'll do whatever they need to. They're the one school in the Big 12, I'd say, that can compete money wise with the SEC and the Big 10, but the rest of them are just kind of like mid range. Um, so that's just where I'm at. I think you've got one big power money school in the Big 12, and the rest are kind of just in that middle tier.
Yeah, I listen. I definitely think the Big Ten got the most money out of like is an average per school. Cause like even a school like Northwestern, they get all these government contracts and stuff. They just got bread over there. It ain't nothing you could tell me about them not having bread. It's just all these random programs just be having money. I don't know where Oklahoma State is getting no money from, or West Virginia. Like where are these schools gonna get their money from? So I mean, I know you're getting at 20.5, but we seeing teams like Texas Tech, your one money machine in the conference. Their roster we know probably is touching 40 million. Everybody else, I mean, if you only got one ATM machine, it's gonna go empty at one point. You know, uh, so I just don't know where nobody in that conference really is getting there. I mean, I know Baylor. Do Baylor got oil money too? It just because they're in
No.
Texas? Do they? That's what I'm saying. Like school like Texas, they got alumni that's in the oil industry. I don't know about Baylor and West Virginia and Oklahoma States and even TCU. What do TCU got money?
TCU got a little bit, but Oklahoma State's got money now. They've got T. Boone Pickens money,
They got team on picking Jay. He got some bread.
But it's
and
spending.
oh
You
yeah,
still got
T.
to
Boone
convince these
Pickens.
dudes to spend.
He does that. The money does come there, not as he does. It's not spent as much as it used to be. I'll put it that way. But they, if the right coach can tap into it and get them convinced to buy in, T. Boone Pickens can damn near buy a national title. They got
Facts.
tons of money. And then all they've got to do, if they want to throw in another really famous alumni with much money, if they want to tap into a little bit of Garth Brooks money and get him to back the football team. Garth Brooks is an Oklahoma State alum too.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the reasons why Matt Campbell made the switch from Iowa State to Penn State. I think it was strictly based on what type of money he could get for his roster. He
And
knew
that's
he could
quite
get
possible.
better players because he had more money.
Right, of course. But if this coach can come in to Oklahoma State and get them back to prominence, the money is there for them to build on it.
Y'all got
Yeah,
anything else? Oh, go ahead, Post.
I agree. Oklahoma, listen, SEC Sean is absolutely right about OK State. Sometimes because I compare it to Notre Dame. Notre Dame has all the money in the world, but it took a coach like Marcus Freeman to get those guys on board. Okay, we have a chance here. Let's pour the money in the program so we're not lacking in any area. I think I kind of look at OK State with those huge backings as a similar situation. If this coach from North Texas comes over to Oklahoma State and Drew Mestermaker is making plays, and basically the majority of that roster from North Texas, I think they can be a player. I really do. As far as NIL money and them getting the backing from their boosters, their donors, I think that could be a similar situation.
I forgot Eric Morris went over there. Yeah, yeah, they a sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tap in with Anthony. Um, he said, "I'm going to use my Hurricanes as a perfect example, Sean. The SEC teams like Georgia and Bama are accusing Miami. The only where they're getting these high school and high end recruiters to pay them. I think he's saying Miami. Man, Miami been listen, Anthony. Hold on, we ain't gonna do that. Y'all offer Jeremiah Smith $10 million, bro. Like we not gonna do that. Y'all offered him 10 million, and y'all we in a every player we recruit. Y'all do that. Every player we recruit, like DJ Jacobs right now. He everybody knew his favorite was Ohio State. Y'all swooped into his recruitment, and now y'all offering him a big bag because y'all know we're not gonna pay him that. Y'all do that all the time. We know y'all got them resources though. Do you find hilarious and hypocritical that Georgia and Bama are accusing Miami of paying players when before name, image, and likeness happened, they were basically paying players? Yeah, we knew
Nope.
we knew Saban was doing it. Everybody in the group chat, Rob, Poe, they accused Ohio State of doing the same thing.
That's all right. I straight up responded to it and said, no, I find it, let them, that's why my Aggies are just keeping their mouth shut. Same with the Longhorns. They keeping their mouth shut
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
know
exactly,
better.
exactly.
We can do a whole show on paying players from the Southwest Conference days.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Of course. I mean, that's the name of the game, man. You want to get the best players in the country on your university. I don't care who was paying. I mean, you was playing the game that everybody else was playing.
That's right. Go watch the Pony Excess on ESPN's 30 for 30 if you ain't seen it. Go watch that, and that'll tell you what you need to know.
And he talking about that paying before NIL though paying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
It was
That's what I'm
happening all
saying.
over the country. Everybody was doing that.
That's what
Everybody,
I'm telling you.
everybody who was winning championships, they was paying players. The ones who were able to keep a hush hush probably was able to keep a hush hush because they had a whole lot more money to give. But all
That's
of them
right.
was doing it. And so Georgia and Alabama, yeah, they were being hypocritical, talking that mess. Just keep your mouth shut. Like Texas is keeping their mouth shut. Like Texas A&M is keeping their mouth shut. And like Ohio State is keeping their mouth shut.
Absolutely,
man,
fellas.
we follow
That's
the letter of the law.
Yeah,
that's the name of the game, man. Is you
that's
got to
it.
pay to play. I'm sure somebody was told. What is it? Sunday morning. I'm sure somebody was told that last night. I mean, that's that's just the name of the game. You got to pay to play.
That's it. I mean, these, you look around at these spring games and you see all these high-end recruits there. Those aren't really official visits. So, but I promise you, they're getting food, they're getting money, they're getting whatever they want while they're on that spring game tour.
Oh yeah, I heard recruits are charging $5,000 to come take visits now.
Yeah, they getting paid
Yeah.
just to visit now.
Yeah, just to visit.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. That's getting a little out of hand, but it is what it is.
He said the Hurricanes are another example. It took Mario coming in to finally get the administration and the big donuts of the school to support the team financially. Level Up Sports 10 is in the comments. Hey, and we thank everybody that's in here and watching the stream. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It don't cost you a thing. Level Up, good morning. He said NIL been going on since Uncle was hooping at the Stone and before. He just made you feel old, didn't he? Hey,
man, I'm accepting the fact that I'm about to be 57.
Man, hey, you look real good, bruh. I ain't gonna lie to you. You don't look that. You don't even look that. Still looking young out here. Hey, give me y'all's highlight impact player in the. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was going to give a plug real quick. First off, we glad Anthony's in the comments and has been here in the past few streams. Like to see that. Secondly, any college coaches out there, if you're looking for somebody to fill a visit slot, I only charge $500 per visit.
Oh man, hey, I ain't mad at your hustle, Sean.
I used to play soccer in college. I'm sure I can kick for somebody.
Let me get y'all's highlight impact player in the conference. I don't care who they play for. Who do y'all think is going to have a monster year and they're going to be a difference maker?
I've already mentioned.
Man, I got five guys. You go ahead. You can go, Post. You can go. I've been stealing the thunder going first.
I'm just going to throw out the one I threw out there, Avery Johnson. I think he's going to explode this year. So that's my highlight I'm watching. I am secretly pulling for Connor Wegman down at the University of Houston just because he started off at A&M. But Avery Johnson is my highlight for this player to watch.
Yeah, just so we don't all say the same people. because I think SEC Sean is right about that. I really like Avery Johnson and where he's positioned at this season. But just so we don't say the same people, for Coach Prime's sake, I'm going to say Julian Lewis has to have a monster season, and just to keep them above water, man. So my guy out of the Big 12 this year is going to be Julian Lewis, quarterback, Colorado.
Yeah, I got five guys on my list, but I'm only gonna go with one because I really believe he needs to have the season of his life, man, in order to live up to what his height was coming out of high school. And I think he's a tremendous talent. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy enough to really be able to do it. But I'm throwing all my chips in on DJ Lagway at Baylor. I think that program needs him to have a wonderful season. It's going to be a step down defensively, which is going to allow him to use his athleticism and his arm. I just hope they got some weapons around him to help him. I'm going to go with DJ Lagway.
Give me one more off your list.
I had Amarion Miller. I think that's his name. Did he come from Colorado and went over to somebody else in the Big 12?
Yep.
Yeah, him. I think
Receiver,
he's a
right?
wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go 4,000 this year.
Yeah, I got three guys that I don't want to mention since they didn't get named. Arizona's quarterback Noah, of course. I think he's a senior this year. I think he's steadily been getting better. He's another guy you might see get drafted in the first 3 rounds in this upcoming draft. Also, Mekhi Hughes transferred out of Oregon. He went to Oregon from Tulane, didn't get a lick of burn. That room was too deep. He didn't touch the field. He over at Houston this year. And then Coy Eakin, man, that is my favorite player to play with on college football, easily. Texas Tech receiver. Anthony said, who do you think is going to be the best quarterback in the Big 12 this year? Or he might possibly break the single season record for passing yards and yards per play. Yeah, who do y'all think is going to be the best quarterback this year?
This league got some quarterbacks in it, bro. They got some quarterbacks, man. I mean, we've named at least 5 or 6 of them, but since I threw DJ Lagway out there, I think he's going to be a man on a mission, man. And I'm going with DJ Lagway to be that guy.
Yeah, I'm with Rob on this. If DJ Lagway actually stays healthy for the whole season, given that Baylor, I'll probably rush for 200 yards against that team right now. But if he stays healthy and he plays up to his potential, he should be in Heisman talks. But that's gonna depend on how well Baylor is able to do this year. But I definitely think Lagway has the potential to put up some huge numbers this season.
Yeah, I'm going a little different here. I've already mentioned Avery Johnson, but just to kind of throw it out there, the one who's going to break all the records, Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State. We know what that offense did. You know they're going to be looking to put up points and yards to get that fan base and, again, to get that money re-engaged. So I'm going to watch him and see what he does. But he would be my pick to break the single season record for touchdowns or passing yards or whatever. I mean, it's North Texas. North is what it is. So we're going to see what he can do.
Yeah, I don't know about breaking records, but my top quarterback, I'm going with Bear Backermeyer. I think he can build on his outstanding freshman year and really turn BYU up this year. So I'm gonna go with Bear out of BYU. All right, let's kind of pivot.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Is that running back at BYU? Did he get another year?
Yeah.
LJ Martin,
He was
I
the
believe.
junior last year. Martin.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
another
he back.
former A&M commit. So I couldn't remember if he was coming back or not. That kid's dynamic.
All right, let's pivot a little bit and play a little game of lock or not. Lock or not, Big 12 gets 2 teams in the college football playoff.
Not. No way in hell they getting 2 teams in, man. I can't see it. The SEC went to a 9-game conference schedule. They're going to definitely get a 9-3 team in there this year, especially if you got a situation like you had last year where BYU was positioned where they were, Utah was positioned where they were. They will take a 9-3 SEC team with a 9-game conference schedule plus another Power 4 school game over anybody in the Big 12 that goes with 1 or 2 losses. That doesn't be the eventual champion.
Yeah, I'm saying not on this. Man, if we didn't have that silly situation in the playoffs where the what they call it, the group of 5 teams are guaranteed a spot, maybe they get 2, but for now I'm going to say 1.
Yeah, this is an easy not. Both of y'all hit it. The group of 5 stealing 1 spot. We know that. The SEC going to the 9-game schedule now. That's going to affect. I don't see it. I see Texas Tech is the only one getting in. Is all I see.
Yeah, fellas, I'm gonna lock. I think they get 2 this year. I thought they was real close to getting 2 last year, and I think a couple of cards and dominoes just did not fall their way. I think if it wasn't so chaotic in the college football playoff race last year, and then another thing too that affected this, them 2 bids in the whole Notre Dame thing affected that conference. I don't think we're gonna see a scenario like that this year. So I'm gonna lock on this.
Keep in mind, fellas, that now for this upcoming season, if that same scenario happened with Duke, they would be in.
Lock or not, Texas Tech wins the Big 12 again.
I'll
Lock.
lock it. I already said I lock. I don't think anybody in the Big 12 can compete with Texas Tech right now.
Well,
My
if
goodness.
Sorsby gets hurt, then maybe they won't win it. But, outside of that, they're going to have to suffer a rash of injuries for somebody to dethrone them this year.
Man, it's tough to say this early, but man, I'm gonna say, damn. Right now, I'm gonna say lock.
Yeah, I'm locking. I think they spent probably 75% more on their roster than the next highest team. Lock or not, will we see a first round QB out of the Big 12 in the NFL draft out of this conference this season?
That's gonna depend on Lagway. I think because I don't think Avery Johnson is eligible this year. I think this is only a sophomore year. Messermaker.
No, he eligible. I think he was back up to Will Howard 2 years ago, if
Got
I'm not
you.
mistaken.
I could see Lagway if Avery Johnson has the type of season that I think he can have. I think he'll be in that discussion. I think if Lagway stays healthy and plays up to his potential, he'll be in that discussion. But that's really tough because that next year's crop of first round quarterbacks is going to be plentiful.
I'm gonna say no. I don't see one going in the first round out of this conference. Not with the other quarterbacks that are going to be out there next year. But I just don't see it. The only ones that are, Lagway would be eligible. Avery Johnson would be eligible. Of course, Sorsby would be eligible. Connor Wegman would be eligible. But Mestamaker from Oklahoma State isn't eligible. He's only a true sophomore. So I don't see a first round quarterback out of this conference.
No, I don't either. I don't see a first rounder out of there. They got some really, really talented quarterbacks in this conference, but I don't think they get a first round guy. At least that's what I'm saying right now. Maybe they might do something to change my mind during the season, but right now, I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm going not. I think the best quarterback as a prospect wise is Noah Fafita, and he's small. So I don't see it. I got to see it from Lagway. We know Lagway. He got uber talent. I got to see him put it together though. Lock or not, is this the most unpredictable league in college football?
I say not. I think it's pretty easy to predict this league. I mean, kind of know who the top 4 or 5 teams are, and the rest are just kind of screwing around down at the bottom. So to me, now this is not mostly unpredictable league.
Yeah, before Texas Tech robbed Fort Knox or whatever they used to have to go that. I would have said yeah, because 2 years ago we seen this conference have 4 or 5 teams vying for a chance to play in the conference championship game. Colorado being one of them, and it was a lot of teams that were vying for that position. I think that this conference is predictable. You know for a fact that Texas Tech is going to be the top dog until somebody can start matching them money wise, or they can pull a Indiana and get a whole bunch of veteran players who just want to come and try to compete and make it to the college football playoffs with another team since they're not getting much playing time somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I think it is predictable. You got Texas Tech, BYU might be right there flirting with a bid at the end of the season. But I will say Oklahoma State could surprise, Kansas State could surprise, Houston could surprise. But all in all, I think it's predictable.
Yeah, I think this used to be the most unpredictable league up until about 2 or 3 years ago. Um, Whoever was voted to win the conference at the conference meetings that the pre meetings that all the teams and players go to right before the season in the Big 12, that team has not won the league. It was like for like 10 years in a row. So it was like whoever they thought was going to win never was the one that actually won the league. But now I think this NIL money is starting to really funnel down to who got it. And I think those teams are prevailing. All right, let me ask you guys this one question real quick. Do y'all think the Rich Rodriguez offense, the old, you think about the old Rich Rodriguez offenses, do y'all think he can get his offense to work in the Big 12 this season?
Is that like an RPO kind of offense? You on mute.
He was like one of the first ones to, start doing like the RPO, the misdirection sweeps, just all that high pace QB options and all that. He was one of the first ones that like really bring that to college football.
I mean, it's one of those offenses that he's probably gonna have to add a little bit more to it a little bit more eye candy, a little bit more motion and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely believe it can work in the Big 12. They don't have quite the athletes that you see in the Big 10, the SEC, and at those three Florida schools, those two Florida schools. But I think for sure it can work in the Big 12.
I want
Smaller
to
linemen, defensive linemen as well. Shoot, yeah, it could work.
I want to say it can work because he's at West V, right? I'm pretty
Yeah, it
sure.
was. Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Parlay Poe was on here. He would tell you it wouldn't work. It damn sure didn't work in the Big Ten, but um, I think it can. I think he needs specific types of athletes to get the job done in that type of offense. So we'll see. I think it can, but it remains to be seen.
I mean, I think it can work, but I think too many teams are doing it now, so it's been seen. I think it worked better when he first started doing it, obviously, because nobody knew how to defend it. I think teams know how to defend it now. So, can it work? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it can, but I agree. I think the Big 12 is the conference. It would work in better than any other conference, but I still think too many teams know how to game plan for it now. So I'm not sure that offense is as dynamic as it used to be.
Yeah, I remember them Tavon Austin days, man, when he first deployed that offense, man. Tavon Austin might be the greatest college football player I ever seen. Well, maybe Reggie Bush. It's between Tavon Austin, Reggie Bush, and Vince Young as the greatest college football players I ever seen. Hey, listen, that's all the questions I had, man. Hey, what did y'all have a spring game yesterday, Sean?
Yep,
Yeah,
we
what
did.
happened? Tell us what happened in y'all spring game yesterday. What did you see?
Um, it was a little weird because they had to speed up the second half of it. It was supposed to be run like a regular game, 15-minute quarters, 4 of them. But rain started moving in, so they just went to a full running clock. So the second half of it was kind of just whatever. Defense looked good. Isaiah Horton looked really good. Made a couple of really good contested catches. Brandon Arrington, the 5-star cornerback out of California, was phenomenal. Noah McHale, one of the linebackers, he was on the team last year too, kind of a backup role. Had a pick 6, looked really good in coverage. A lot of freshmen stood out making plays. Now, granted, this is a glorified scrimmage. We don't take a lot of stock in this, but you kind of see the athleticisms there. Still waiting to get a full update on our starting linebacker and captain of the defense, who went down with a lower leg injury. Not exactly sure exactly what it is. There's been no reports yet, but Mike Elko was asked in his post spring game interview, and all he would say is, "We're evaluating, and it's a lower leg injury." It looks like it was a broken ankle, so as bad as that sounds, that's something that you can still come back with sometime in the fall. So we're going to see. It didn't look like any ACLs or anything, but we don't know until we get all the results. Just keeping my thoughts and prayers with that kid. He was Damian Sanford was a monster last year. He was still voted captain. They voted on captains after the spring game, and he was still voted defensive captain. So we're going to see how it plays out. But it was a pretty good spring game. We actually made some field goals. So I was really impressed with that. But we got the transfer kicker from Illinois, and then we had a freshman from Louisiana who hit a 53-yarder that on StatCast would have been good from 65. So I was really happy to see that we can make field goals now. But other than that, it was pretty good. Got out of it pretty healthy, minus the one major injury. And that's really what we looked to. Well, a lot of the stars didn't play. A lot of the, like your Terry, your anybody that was nicked up a little bit didn't play. Oh, and our running game looks really good, which scares me because either that means our running game is really good or we're not going to be able to stop the run again. Not real sure which way that's going to go either.
That's always a scary thing in the spring because you can't really tackle that much. What happened with Notre Dame? Did y'all do anything yesterday post game?
No, the Notre Dame spring game is this coming Saturday.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to that and getting your insight on that. Rob, I know you said y'all just had like a fan appreciation thing, but is there any news from that?
Well, I mean, they did their showcase yesterday. Only one who really threw the ball yesterday was KJ Lacey, and then the transfer quarterback that they got as a security blanket as the third string guy. But they did get some really good production out of their backup wide receivers because um, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, or Emmett Mosley, the three projected starters, none of them really participated yesterday. But their backup guys, Dylan McCutcheon, Sterling Burkhalter, and Jermaine Bishop, all played really, really well yesterday. The two running backs that they got in the portal, they didn't really participate yesterday. But the true freshman Derek Cooper looks like he might solidify himself as Texas third running back over James Simon, who's been in the program for 2 years, and Michael Terry, who's been in the program for going on his second year. He might end up becoming the Texas short yardage back, true freshman Derek Cooper. The line played really, really well. They played a lot of young guys trying to get them up to speed. Turntine, who was a smaller offensive tackle who came in at 270, is up to 282, and he played really, really well yesterday as well. Just some small things because they really didn't do a whole lot. They did a bunch of situational stuff, goal line, 2 minute drill, that kind of stuff. Third down and sevens, running some of those kind of plays. But I'm excited to hear that Dylan McCutcheon hasn't lost a beat. He's probably going to be the first wide receiver to come in that circle of trust.
So really, we just got familiar with some of the twos and threes yesterday. I like days like that for fan bases to get to know some of the not so well known guys on the roster. That's what I think the final spring outing is really supposed to be about. Um, yeah, yesterday we had our spring game too. The great team won, which was the defense. Uh, Offense, same thing. Looks explosive. Defense look good, man. We got the same problem though. The same problem, and I'm kind of losing my patience with this. Our offensive line looks horrible. Like we 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 gave up like 6 sacks yesterday, and I'm not saying okay they not. I know we missing two starters, um, but I don't know, man. It just I didn't like what I seen out of the offensive line. Now I do like what Arthur Smith was out there doing as far as what the offense is going to look like. We seen a lot of play action. We seen a lot of pushing the ball down the field. Um, we seen Jeremiah Smith being motioned a lot and keeping the defense off balance with his location pre-snap. Um, and I like how he deployed 13 personnel. I don't like the jumbo tight end thing that we did last year where we got three tight ends, maybe two on the same side, one in the backfield. I didn't like that last year. Arthur Smith looked like more like he gonna go to 7-man front on the offensive line with two wide receivers and a running back. More traditional to give more running lanes, and I kind of liked it, that idea, but that offensive line was so bad. Yeah, and even Julian saying, man, I'm seeing, I'm kind of starting to feel like he's more the guy we seen the last few games of the year than he is the guy we seen the first 7 or 8 games of the year. He threw a pass yesterday straight off a dude's helmet, like third play, and it got intercepted. It's like why are we still making these same type of mistakes? And I know that come with his size and throwing lanes. Um, but man, the way Tavian St. Clair played out there last year, man, he better get it together because that boy is 6'4", 230. He can move. He moves like a horse, and he got a live arm. And he is not afraid. I mean, he threw 2 deep bombs to Chris Henry yesterday. That was just perfect. It was just beautiful. Now he does still have some consistency issues where defenders are touching the ball, but I'm just saying, you never know when that switch is gonna hit and when he's actually gonna be ready because he looked like at some point this year he's gonna be ready to take over as a starter. So Julian Sayer better clean that stuff up, man, because I'm telling you, if he get the plan bad and we got this tough schedule, people are going to be calling for him to be replaced after what they seen from Tavian in this spring game. Um, I said Chris Henry pop. Really, that's it, though, for real. I don't think we learned anything else that I can think of outside of that. Chris Henry probably did. He probably, like I was hearing the reports about Brock Boyd. Brock Boyd played well yesterday, but Chris Henry just looked different. But we was missing a lot of dudes though. We was missing 2 offensive linemen. Jay Timmons, Earl Little didn't play. Uh, he had some cleanup. All these guys had like little minor things. They had some cleanup on their knees or something, and they just sat them out. So but I don't think we really learned too much yesterday, but we did see that, man, we need to build some depth on that offensive line, or we're going to go through the same things.
There's a couple questions in the chat. I don't know if you want to entertain them or not.
Yeah, we kind of moved past this one already. The Rich Rod. I'll tap into this comment. Coming out of Miami spring game, actually, they're saying they believe another freshman and receiver can make the same impact as Malachi Tony did last year with Samarian Wingo. I'm gonna keep my ear out for Samarian for sure. And Anthony also said, but realistically, I don't think he's going to get playing time because we have Cooper Barkate as our X receiver and Joshua Moore as our Z. Yeah, man. I can't wait till y'all play Notre Dame, Anthony. Because all that smack you talking like my boy Post Game ain't on the podcast. Yeah, you're gonna have to show up. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to show up. But yeah, I ain't got nothing else, man. Y'all got anything y'all want to add? Hey, all the channels are at the bottom, scrolling down there. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find us on Patreon at WTP Sports Dudes 2026. You can also get on our website, WTPSportsDudes.com, and you can put some questions in there throughout the week, man. We'll make sure they get onto the pods. Y'all got anything else to say, homies?
Donnell, I don't think Indiana's going to repeat. I don't think they're going to be as good as Ohio State, Oregon, or Michigan, maybe not even USC. So I don't think they're going to repeat.
Donnell, the only reason why I answer that question is because we got the Big Ten spring preview in 2 weeks from today. Next week, we doing SEC. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if nobody got anything, I've missed a couple of Sundays, so I'm gonna throw story time at the end here on this one. If y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about, we'll end it with a good little quick funny story. Buddy of mine was walking around down on the beach and tripped over this lamp, so he rubbed it, and sure enough, a genie popped out, and the genie said, "I'm gonna grant you 3 wishes, and today is your anniversary, I know, so I'm gonna grant your wife double whatever you wish for." He said, "Okay, cool." He said, "Genie, I want $10 million. He said, "Done. Your wife got 20. He said, "Genie, I'd like something modest, like maybe a 5,000 square foot house that sits in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower." wish done. Your wife has a 10,000 square foot house. He said, what's your third wish? He said, Jeannie, I'd like you to beat me half to death.
Oh, that ain't cool. That ain't cool, SEC Sean.
Man, I ain't really get to hear all of it. I was sneezing.
It's just a joke. You have to go back and watch the replay.
Hey, I got one for you.
Okay.
I seen a one-leg man at the ATM yesterday. Guess what he was doing?
I don't know.
He was checking his balance.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. All right. You want another quick one? You want another quick one?
Go ahead.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Man, this dude died. He was a world-renowned engineer. Went up to heaven. St. Peter said, "You ain't on the list, brother. You got to go. You got to go down south to hell." He said, "Can't. I've lived my life. You ain't on the list. You got to go." So he goes to hell. He's down there a couple of weeks, gets in good with the devil. Says, "You know what? You know how engineers are." He's like, "I can make some adjustments down here." He goes to work tinkering, and all of a sudden he got it 68 degrees in hell. Perfect. God looks down and goes, No. He needs up here. Send him back to me. He said, "No, I'm not sending him back to you." God said, "I'm going to see you in court." And the devil said, "Where are you going to get a lawyer?"
Hey, bro, where you even get these jokes from, man? You be on Google, gang. All right,
Again,
man, I got to get out of here. I got to go to work, man. Hey,
watch,
thank you. Huh?
watch YouTube and just look up Jokatory and all this stuff. That's where I get them from.
Hey, y'all have a good Sunday, man. I appreciate y'all joining the stream, man.
Yep.
You too.
No worries. You too.
All right, Anthony, Level Up, Donnell, IBs. Y'all have a good Sunday.